changes are inevitable, but quite often when we perform changes on our sites, they can be the catalyst for some issues on the site. Quite often disagreements about interpretation of documents and what is and isn't a change, and also quite often getting paid for changes can be a problem as well. So over the next little while, we're going to go over a number of modules, and we're hoping that these modules are going to help prepare us for this trek into the change order world out there. So what are we going to talk about? We're going to start off with a general introduction to what contracts are all about. We enter into contracts all the time, so let's talk about what contracts are, what makes a legal contract, and what the components of a contract are. That would be advantageous for us because when we deal with change orders out there, we are dealing with contracts, and we are also agreeing to certain things in our base contracts as well. So what are contracts all about? From there, we're going to talk about the different types of contracts that we may be getting into. There's a number of different ones. We'll also focus on the industry standardized type contracts, such as the CCDC and the CCA contracts, so what they're about and what they're used for. From there, we're going to touch a little bit on the bidding process, just so we have an understanding about what that process is all about, the importance of the bidding rules, and the understanding about how we arrive at our price, which is usually through a tender set of drawings. Once we're awarded a project and go out and build that project, sometimes there can be a difference between the tender set and the construction set of drawings. Does that constitute a change? Well, there may be a change, but it may not be a change order. Maybe there's a different way we can view it or approach that situation. So the bidding process would be good to understand. We'll also touch on the law of bidding in that particular module. Then we'll get into change orders themselves, what they're all about, and maybe some pointers on ways we can stage ourselves and prepare ourselves, and some tips and tricks on hoping to get paid by performing change orders. Change order administration is important as well. So what are some of the ways that we can prepare to do changes, and how can we set up our systems in our head office to be able to deal with changes? How do we also prepare the field to incorporate and actually perform the change, track the change, and ultimately get paid for those changes? From there, we're going to take a look at what the actual contracts say, the CCDC and CCA contracts. We have provided for you in your handout some verbiage from those contracts that are specific to do with change orders. So we'll talk about what the contract actually says when it comes to change orders, and also what the contract says when it comes to disputes. If we disagree with things, what can we do about it? So we'll touch on those in modules number 7 and 8. We'll take a look at the dispute resolution process as well. So what that's all about, because if we have disputes out on site, how do we deal with them? So let's chat about negotiation and mediation and arbitration, and we'll also touch on litigation as well in that module. Surety and bonding is important as well, so is insurance. So we'll take a brief look at both of those, what the role of the bonding company is all about, the relationship between the bonding company, us as constructors, and the owner. And we'll take a look at the various different sort of surety products that are available out there as well. And we'll touch on insurance briefly as well, so some of the common insurances that are requested and why we have insurance out there.